is, I don't even know what bloody day it is, 18th. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, 18th of December in the UK. Livestream news. This is where we get to read the news. You get to join in, give your opinion, listen to my opinion for what it's worth. And we have a laugh, and it's something to do. If you're on your way to work, if you haven't got time to read the news yourself, or you just want somebody else's opinion on it. If you're watching on playback, thank you very much. I know not everyone can make the lives, so I'm just going to wait for somebody to turn up. We've got one solid person on there, and I'm not sure if YouTube counts my phone as one person. So if you're on there, say hello, and we'll start a conversation, and I'll have a look at today's stories before we get going. Pete goes, "G'day mate, you alright Pete? How you doing brother? You got me all to yourself at the moment mate, there's nobody on here." But I've only just started, so it's alright. Saw your video yesterday mate, that was really good. For anyone watching on playback, hello Shane, how you doing buddy? Nice to see you mate, thank you for joining. Yeah, I watched your video last night, part 2, Pete, very good. Very good, and it's like I've been to Australia now mate, so I don't have to go. I'm walking around, it's good, POV walks. Love the thumbnails as well, very good. How you doing Shane, you alright buddy? No problem. Now I'm gonna start, instead of going straight into news, we'll start with a bit of YouTube, yeah? So this is to me mate Pete in Australia, who supports the channel. So I know it can be disheartening when you first start YouTube. Okay, I know it can be disheartening if you haven't got many subs and you put a video out, put your heart and soul into, and and you don't get many views right off the bat. What you got to think of is, and this just goes for anyone on YouTube, okay, because we've all been in exactly the same position, okay. First of all, don't get downhearted. It's nothing you've done, okay. So let's say this is your video, yeah. This little vape pen's your video, right? I did like the captions, mate. Thank you. So let's say this pen is your video, okay? And you're going into the world. You say, right, I've created a brand new video. It's amazing. It's some of the best work I've done, right? And you're in the middle of the street, and say you're trying to show people this video. You go, oh, I've got a new video. Do you want to see my video? And somebody walks by, and you go, well, do you want to see my video? And somebody else walks by. People aren't watching your video because it's bad. People aren't watching your video because they don't know about you. You know what I mean? They're not aware of your channel yet. As soon as your channel, and this is for anyone on YouTube, as soon as your channel starts getting pushed by YouTube, which they won't push until they can define your niche and see who might be interested in it, do little test pushes. Okay, till the audience responds, which is a catch-22 because you've got to get to the audience to respond. You're always going to have low views and low subs, okay? But I guarantee you, Pete, in particular, I guarantee you, with the quality of your thumbnails, description, the quality of the filming of what you're doing, with the captions and all the stuff like that, which is first class as far as I'm concerned, when people do watch it, then it will start getting pushed. So don't be put off that you put your heart and soul into something you don't get many views or subs to begin with. It's a grind, it's a process, but you'll get there. And that goes for anyone else on YouTube, okay? So that's a bit of a morning inspiration before my coffee. So well done. Yes, Pete, I did like the captions. I like the words coming up. I like the background music. I think the background music was at the right volume because you can still hear the nature as well. And I liked the quality of the video, and I particularly like your thumbnails. So well done, Pete in Australia. And if anyone hasn't seen Pete in Australia, go and say hello to him. My keys are just in that top drawer there, done. Hannah's off her way to college today. Be sure to check her out on her channel, Finding Hannah. And if you're on playback too, and you can even, that drawer there, Hannah, on the desk. Over there, that drawer. Okay. Have a good day, love. yeah, be sure to check out Finding Hannah and Live, Laugh, Love Lucy's channel, which is my stepdaughter and wife channel. Shane goes, "G'day, Hannah, Mama, Marley." How you doing, Shane? Yeah, Marley's sat here. He's covered in coconut oil. Every time he has a scratch and we think he's got fleas, we put coconut oil on him because it doesn't, it makes the fleas jump off. They can't stand coconut oil. So I've got Marley sat here with me, Hannah's off away to college, and Lucy's at work. So let me just get into the first story, shall we? Have a great day, Hannah. Thank you, Pete. And thank you, Shane. Right, guys. So today's first story. Children living in temporary accommodation for more than 5 years, investigation reveals. Nicole's son Logan has celebrated 2 birthdays in temporary accommodation, and she's been told she and her 4-year-old might not be able to move for another 3 years. Sad, isn't it? Children in some parts of England are spending more than 5.5 years in temporary accommodation, a Sky News investigation has found. Data from Freedom of Information request shows London and the South East are the regions seeing the longest stays for homeless households. More than 2/3 of local authorities saw households with children experience stays 20% longer than households without children. The average length of time spent in temporary accommodation ranges from 2 weeks to 5.5 years, depending on where in the country people live. Average lengths of stay for all households have increased by nearly 1/5 since 2020. So temporary accommodation in the UK means if people haven't got their own private resident, or they can't get a private rental property, or they can't get a house in a council house, the council in the UK will put people in temporary accommodation, which is shared accommodation, hostels, potentially hotels or B&Bs, to stop that family being homeless. But the problem is they're ending up in those temporary accommodations for years and years and years because they haven't got enough housing in the UK. Hence why the government's trying to build 10 million houses in 5 years. So it's a real problem that they're dealing with. And based on things that I've seen before on this, let me have a quick sip of my coffee. Based on things I've seen before on this, what happens is, if someone's in London, say, okay, and they go to the council in London, and London's a very expensive place to live, and they turn around and go, "Oh, I need temporary accommodation, or I need a council house for my family." What they'll do, they won't house them in London. They send them like 200 miles away from everything they know, everyone they know in London. They send them about 200 miles away up north, where it's cheaper accommodation, and they say, "Well, you got 2 choices. You either take the accommodation we give you, and they tell you to go to another place, and they arrange it through the council. You either take the accommodation we give you, or you're homeless," and that's it. They will not put you in temporary housing in these really expensive places. 1, there's none available, and 2, it costs them too much money to do it. So let's read on. £1 billion funding boost for councils to tackle homelessness is underway, but Lewisham in London was the worst affected local authority, with families with children having been stuck in temporary accommodation for an average of more than 5.5 years in 23-24. In 2020-21, the average length of stay in the South East London borough was 620 days in the 4 years since it has risen to 2,044. Lewisham and Wandsworth in London are the areas that currently have the longest average stays, all more than 3.5 years. That is according to the latest data from the first 6 months of this financial year. Out of 180 councils contacted with Freedom of Information requests by the news, 97 responded. Let's have a look here. So one of the ladies affected, Pete goes, "I watched that show Skint. That was a family. That's what a family had to do." Yeah, there were loads of shows on TV like that. Benefit Britain, too fat to work and all these sort of stuff here. It was all around benefits and housing crisis and, loads of stuff like that. Right. So Nicole Hamilton, 30, and her son Logan have spent more than 2 years in temporary accommodation in London. They are living there because Miss Hamilton fled domestic violence. Despite working full-time as a project manager for an IT company, she has been unable to find anywhere to privately rent. I've worked since I was 17. I've dedicated my life to working, so why am I finding it so difficult, she said. Miss Hamilton added that Logan, who is 4, spent most of his life in temporary accommodation. She continued, he always says, why do we only have one room? Which is sad because I don't know what to say. He told me I could be here for another 3 years, so it'll nearly be 6 before we leave. I don't want him to be suffering in one room. Another quick sip of my coffee. It says Miss Hamilton also describes temporary accommodation as not safe for any child under the age of 7. She added, when the government are giving nothing to the council and the council have nowhere to put us, they're literally putting us where they have, be it safe or not. Miss Hamilton was at one stage having to complete a 4-hour round trip each day for childcare and has had to rely on food banks at times. She said, I feel it's unjustifiable to go to the food bank because I work and I earn money, but I had no money in my pocket. I had no food in my cupboards. So here in the UK, we have food banks. I'm sure you have initiatives like this in the other countries, where charities gather donations of food from supermarkets and people. So families that are in need and can't afford to feed themselves go down there and get given a couple of bags of shopping a week. It's a real saviour for the families out there. It's no fun looking in your cupboards and not having any money. It's not having any food to feed you or your kids. And it's no fun looking in your pocket knowing that all your money's gone out to pay the bills and you can't afford to look after yourself and your kids. Think about that situation. You're working because she's working. She just can't afford anything because it's too expensive. So she's working. She's in temporary accommodation, right, which is a B&B or a hotel, a low-grade hotel. She's got no money for food, and she's got no money in her pocket. That is dire straits, mate, innit? That is proper. Don't bear thinking about, me, does it? Some people, some of the things people go through, it's not as easy. It's not as easy what people say is, oh, just go and get a job that pays more money. Oh, go and get another job now. When you're single, right, and you've got no kids, yeah, you can do that. You can work all the hours you can do. But when you got kids, you can't. When you got kids, you can only work the hours they're at school. And if they're off school because they're sick, guess what? You ain't working, which then again is a vicious circle because then you get less money. It's a real problem. But let's continue. Pete says he's got a food bank in Australia. It's good to know. Yeah, they've got food banks over here. So children will grow up with different life chances. Claire Cruz, a lawyer from Southwark Law Centre specialising in education, describes a 2-tier system developing between those children who live in temporary accommodation and those who do not. She said, you have the long-term impact on children's mental health, you have the social isolation. Children in hotel rooms don't have desks to be able to do their work. They fall behind their peers so quickly. My fear is that it leads to a 2-tier society, and we're talking a significant number who will grow up with completely different life chances. A shortage of housing nationally is contributing towards the homelessness crisis. The government has pledged to build 1.5 million new homes in the next 5 years. 1.5? I thought they said 10 million. Well, I don't know where I got 10 million from, but apparently the government has pledged to build 1.5 million new homes in the next 5 years. It may as well say 10 billion trillion. Do you know what I mean? There's not a chance they're building 1.5 million homes. And if they do, and they rush through building these homes, they are going to be riddled with problems, mate, because they're just going to be built like really quick like that. And the quicker they're built, mate, the less quality you'll have at the end of it. You know? So old saying, innit? And I heard this from Australia, outback truckers. Good work ain't cheap, and cheap work ain't good. Remember that? Shadow Secretary of State for Levelling Up, Housing and Communities, Kevin Hollinrake, describes the plan as confused and chaotic. He told Sky News, look at the maps, look at where those houses are. Many of the boroughs of London have seen a decrease in targets for housing delivery, a decrease. Yet we know the demand in London for rough sleeping, for temporary accommodation, is at its highest. So it makes no sense. It's chaotic right now, it's all over the place. Now, say if they can deliver on this stuff, great, more affordable homes, more social homes, then we'll welcome that. But at the moment, it's very difficult to see how that's going to happen. And then it goes on, consequences of failure. Okay. In response, the Minister for Homelessness, Rashanara Ali, said the government has inherited the consequences of years of failure to grip the housing crisis. She described far too many families with children who are facing the uncertainty and trauma of homelessness. This has to stop, which is why we are taking decisive action and working at pace across government to end homelessness, she said. We've already announced extra funding to bring support for homelessness services to 1 billion next year. On top of this, we will deliver the biggest boost in social and affordable housing in a generation and tackle one of the biggest drivers of homelessness by ending no-fault evictions. So there we go. Will the problem get sorted or not? Have your say, have your comment. What do you think? Do you think the UK is doing enough to tackle homelessness? Do you think it's acceptable that people are in temporary accommodation for years and years with no guarantee of their own home? That there isn't enough benefits being paid to the people that really need it? And working mums haven't got enough money in their pockets to pay for food, to pay after they pay the bills. They haven't got enough money to feed their kids, feed themselves, or anything else, and have to rely on food banks and live in temporary accommodation for years and years with a little kid. You know, do you think that's good enough? To say your say and give me your opinions, because I value it. Well, before we go on to the next story, we're going to talk about this some more. So Shane goes, love it. Good work is not cheap, and cheap work is not good. Yeah, I saw that on Outback Truckers on the back of one of the lorries that used to do trucking. It goes, cheap work ain't good, and good work ain't cheap. I thought it was absolutely legendary. Pete goes, I lost everything in 2011, was living in a 17-foot caravan with no job and food bank. Helped me out on odd occasions. Well, Pete, it's good to see you. First of all, thank you for sharing and being honest. And it's good to see you're doing well now, brother. So that's inspiration for people that are struggling, that there is light at the end of the tunnel and they will find a way out. Shane Lightcap says it's definitely a hard cycle. Gavin YNWA, I'm sorry if I sound like I'm being nasty, but we need to get the people on the streets into hotels instead of illegal immigrants that we don't know the background of. Well, Gavin, you're not being nasty, you're being honest. Okay, now there's people out there who've got right-wing views and they've got left-wing views. Okay, what I would say to that comment is, yes, I think the government, any person, be them in the UK or be them an immigrant, a refugee, anyone the government has said, right, we're going to help you. Okay, I think the government should help. I don't think they should separate the two. Okay, I think it can be a dangerous mistake splitting the two between illegal immigrants, what support and housing they get, and the people in the UK on the street. Now you've got, I'm just covering the sun in my eyes here, it's right in my head. So what you've got is you've got people in the UK that are born and bred and they're homeless and everything else like that, and ex-servicemen, and they're on the streets and everything else, and they're not getting the help they need. Yeah, they're not getting the support that they obviously desperately need. And then you've got the immigrants that come over legally, okay, that want to immigrate to the UK, and then you've got the illegal immigrants that are coming over on the boats. Now, to clear up what I've read in the news, and I can only go by what I've read in the news, give me just a second, everyone. Let me just pull my curtain down because my retinas are getting burnt by the sun. Give me 2 seconds and I'll be right back with you. Oh, down. There we go. Right, I'm coming back. Don't worry. Don't worry. Here we go. Yeah. So you've got the immigrants coming over legally, and you've got the illegal immigrants, okay? And then you've got the people in the UK that are homeless and need benefits as well. Now, the problem I see is the government is already put a defining line between these pair. So I was talking about this with my wife last night. We heard that, so the people in the UK that are on benefits, the government have just turned around and say, right, anyone that's on benefits has to be looking for work. Okay, this is what they're saying. Anyone that's on benefits has to be looking for work. If they haven't found a job by a certain time, or they're not constantly looking for work and they haven't found a job within 6 months, they're going to lose their benefits either completely or they're going to get cut significantly. And that's what they're doing with people in the UK. Okay, with the homeless people, it seems to me it's more the homeless charities that are actively helping these homeless people get off the streets. You don't see government people, you don't see the council people out there getting homeless people off the streets. What you see from government and the council people is, oi, move, you can't sit there, oi, you can't sleep there, get off the street, get off, yeah? But what you do see is these charities in the UK going around getting people off the streets, getting them into a hostel for a night, and then getting them the resources to get their life back together. Yeah, and that's one group of people. Now, the conflict with the UK is, and I understand what you're saying, Gavin, okay? I understand, but you need to be informed fully with it. The problem with the government is a lot of the illegal immigrants coming over, when they're not put in a holding cell or a holding place to get processed, they are putting them in 5-star hotels, okay? They're putting them in 5-star hotels, but it's not the immigrants' fault that they're put in 5-star hotels. If truth be told, any immigrant that comes over here legally or legally, they want to better their life, okay? And you can't begrudge someone wanting to better their life. Now, because of the government, they've caused this problem and costing us taxpayers loads and loads of pounds. Because when the immigrants come over, they stop them from working. They say, right, you're not allowed benefits for like 5 years or something. Yeah, they say you're not allowed to claim benefits. If you want to use the NHS, you've got to pay like £1,250 a person, but you're not allowed to work. They say you're not allowed to work until you've got your national insurance number and you've been approved and got a visa to stay here. So they're stopping the immigrants from working because they've come here illegally, and then they're putting them in 5-star hotels at the same point, which is then getting the backs up of everybody else, obviously, because all you're seeing and all the news is reporting is British person, born and bred, is on the street, is in a cheap B&B and getting threatened to get their benefits cut. And then you're seeing immigrants and illegal immigrants who quite rightly just want to better their life. And, none of us can really judge them because until we've been in that situation from where they are, you don't know what you would do. If everything went to pot in Britain and I wanted a better life for me and my family, I would go to another country. If this one went up the spout, and if I couldn't do it legally, I probably would get a boat and do it myself. So you can't judge them like that. But when they come in to the UK, the government are stopping them from working, which forces a lot of them to go underground and work illegally, cash in hand jobs, completely illegally, and they're putting up in 5-star hotels. And that's the problem with the homeless and the immigration in the UK at the moment, is completely out of kilter. And literally, Lucy, my wife, was speaking about this yesterday. Yeah, Lucy was speaking about this yesterday and said the government have said anyone in the UK that's on benefits, if they don't get a job or this within a certain amount of time, then all their benefits going to get cut, and at the same time they're putting up all the illegal immigrants in 5-star hotels. So it's, there's already been mass riots outside these hotels in the UK, mate. Mass riots where people have been in there. So let's look at some of these comments. So Pete goes, you need to fix your own backyard before helping others. Shane agrees. What you got, sun in the UK? Yes, I know, mate. I'm so not used to the sunshine. I had to pull the curtain down, mate. It's put me into like a physical shock. Gavin goes, I go and talk to an ex-serviceman in Newcastle nearly every morning, and buy him coffee and breakfast. The poor man served us for 20 years. I went via divorce and had to leave the family home. Yeah, I'm an ex-serviceman myself, Gavin. So I know a lot of people struggle. They struggle with PTSD. They can't fit back into family life. There's very little support. I mean, the best thing you can do if he's an ex-serviceman and he needs help, contact the British Legion, the Royal British Legion, okay? And that's specifically to help ex-forces, ex-serving members of the forces, and they should be able to help him out as well. But well done for supporting him and showing love where other people may not have bothered at all. So well done, Gavin. Pete goes, always the charities are doing the hard work. Government don't care. It certainly seems like that, doesn't it? Allegedly, apparently. It certainly seems like that, what would happen if all these charities and food banks went bust? Yeah. What would happen? The government, mate, they just, you know what I mean? You don't see councillors on the street helping homeless people, getting them off the street, this and that. You see charities doing it. And thank God for the charities, because if you didn't have the charities, mate, you'd be walking past, I reckon you'd be walking past dead bodies on the street, mate, through starvation and hypothermia because they haven't got nowhere to live, bless them. It's terrible. Gavin says, yeah, my uncle runs a people's kitchen in Newcastle. They help support homeless and vulnerable people. Well done to your uncle, Gavin. Yeah, I understand if it was families, but it's mostly fighting age men. Gavin goes, why should we be fighting for their country? Why should we be fighting for their country? They have the same problem in the USA. Yeah, I mean, you can talk about it all day. Yeah, and there are many valid points of view, some differing, really good arguments either side. At the end of the day, how I feel about it is we are all human beings, guys. Whether we're a male, a female, a child, an adult, a teenager, we're all human beings. We all want to do well in life, and sometimes we all need support. Okay, now that support can be from families, it can be from governments, it can be from charities. But at the end of the day, when you need help, whatever your situation is, okay? So always try and look at it. I know it's hard when it affects people, but always try and look at it with a sympathetic eye, because you never know if you or someone you love would be in that situation. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying there. Let's have a look here. Yeah, Pete goes, it's a touchy subject. Yeah, it is. Iceland Potato says, hey, nice to see you. Sending hate from Iceland. Thank you very much, Iceland Potato. Thank you very much. Let's turn that hate into love, brother. You may be sending hate, but I'm sending love. Here you go. Big kiss just for you. Gavin goes, Soz, I'm dyslexic. My spelling, the way I use could be wrong. Don't worry about it, Gavin. Don't worry about it, mate. I'll just about read these messages first thing in the morning. Donnelly's recycling. Way, go on, Donnelly's. Morning, you doing the news now, mate? Yes, mate. I've been promoted to news reporter. They said I had the eyes for it. What do you reckon? And Shane goes, Gavin, lol, you're good. Yes, so Donnelly's. So if you don't know anyone, so I've talked about my mate Pete. So on this channel, we do live stream news, 9 o'clock in the morning for about an hour or so, Monday to Friday. We do some entertaining shorts and we do videos. Okay, so we do a real big mix on this channel. Donnelly's Recycling is a good YouTuber up north. He's got his own channel. I want everyone to check out Donnelly's Recycling because he works hard. He collects the scrap metal. He knows what he's on about. And like all my previous videos, when I used to do scrap metal, Donnelly still does it. And Donnelly's, you watch your mate, you do a good video. I appreciate your support, brother, and good luck to you, because I know what it's like to be a scrapper, mate. All right, up the scrap, mate. Up the scrap. Get your metal, and join in every morning. We do the news. So there's Donald Lee's Recycling. You can see his channel name in the messages. Shane goes, Gavin, you're good, Gavin. But anyway, hope you are all sorted for Christmas and have a great Christmas holiday. Yes, I'm all sorted for Christmas. If you haven't seen it already, look at my video. It's called Miserable at Christmas. Because basically, I've already spoke about it with Pete this morning. And every Christmas, I'm miserable as you like. I don't want to be miserable, but because of the whole commercialism of Christmas, and everyone goes on about it for months and this and that and everything, I'll get miserable as you like. I wake up Christmas morning, bam, I'm like that. Everyone just leave me alone for like an hour while I have a coffee on Christmas morning kind of thing. And I'm really, really, honestly trying to get positive for this Christmas. In some moments, I feel like I am going to be happy with it. And then other minutes, I just feel miserable. Do you know what I mean? So if you ever feel miserable at Christmas, watch that video, Miserable at Christmas, all right? But here we go. So Donnelly says, thanks, mate. And Pete says, he'll definitely check out the channel. So Donnelly's Adventures in a Ute, which is my mate Pete. He lives in Melbourne, Australia, and he's going to be checking your channel out, bruv. So there you go. Good luck to you all. Donnelly's, as a favour for Pete, Pete's got a channel called Adventures in a Ute, which is POV walks and stuff like that. So if Pete's going to check your channel out, Donnelly's, why don't you give him a quick check out as well? It's the channel name is What Is Messages, Adventures in a Ute. Does POV walks and stuff in Australia. So you can support each other there. Right, let's have a look here. So this could probably follow on from what we were talking about. So we've just talked about the housing crisis in the UK, which went into migration and benefits and stuff like that. And now the next story is pretty much following on from that. So thank you all for watching. This is cool. Right, next one. Police immensely brave, but forces were unprepared for summer riots, says report. Speedy identification and prosecution helped bring an end to the violence, according to the review, but it says forces must look again at how resources can be mobilized more quickly. So this is what I was telling you about. Yeah, this is what I was telling you about. You know, people protesting about migrants being put in hotels. You'll have a look here. Let me just read a couple of these messages quickly before I crack on. Shane says, I took a screenshot, so I check out the sites. Thank you very much, Shane. Gavin says, well, guys, I've got the doctors soon, so if I don't see you a lot before Christmas, wish you all the best and the best of health and happiness in the new year. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you, Gavin. Thank you for joining us. Remember, we're here every morning, and if you can't get on it, you can watch playback, and we do videos and shorts. So it says, so this is the riots, the migrant riots, people turning up at hotels and kicking off at hotels because migrants are being put in hotels and they're on the bloody streets, mate. So here we go. Police forces need to be better prepared for serious violence and disorder, according to a review of the response to this summer riots. The report also found police failed to realise the significance of a number of events leading up to the riots, leaving gaps in intelligence linked to social media and the dark web. Violence flared across the country following the deaths of 3 schoolgirls in a knife attack in Southport in Merseyside in July. The unrest and disorder continued for several days. In September, the Home Secretary asked His Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary and Fire and Rescue Services to carry out a rapid review into the policing response to the disorder. The first part of the report, which is published today, said that officers showed immense bravery and personal sacrifice throughout the disorder, but that forces were unprepared for the scale of rioting. It said the decision by the National Police Chiefs Council to implement a national mobilisation plan on the 6th of August was made too late and now should have been activated 4 days earlier. So basically, this is a report into those mass riots and burning of cars and everything else. There you go. Donnelly's Adventures in the Peak just says, just subbed from Donnelly's Recycling. Shane says, good luck, Gavin. There you go, Donnelly's. We just got you another sub, brother. Harold Betterson, hi from Essex. Hello, Harold. How you doing, brother? Thank you for watching. We're just talking about the report on the London riots that happened with all the migrants and the hotels and everyone that kicked off. So thank you for joining us. So it says the inspectorate said a number of events in 2023 and 2024 were indicators of potential future disorder, but this had not been reflected in police intelligence reviews. Our assessment of these incidents suggests that the risk of disorder were greater than the police believe them to be. It said they involved extreme nationalist sentiment, aggravated activism, or serious disorder. The incident includes demonstrations organised by Toby Robinson, unrest in Leeds and Cardiff, and violence on Armistice Day in London. The report concluded that the dress code initially handed down by commanders could have left officers vulnerable to injury. Harold said, thoughts on immigration, hotels? Yes, we just spoke about that, Harold. What you can do after this live stream, if you watch it on playback, we've had a really good discussion about all that. Pete goes, g'day, Harold. Harold goes, question, are you a Muslim convert? No, I know you think I am because of my beard. No, I'm a Christian, brother. Yeah, I say my prayers to God every day. But it is funny you say that because you know what? You're not the first person who said that. It's because of my awesome beard. Oh, dear. The report also concluded that the dress code initially handed down by commanders could have left officers vulnerable to injury. His Majesty's Chief Inspector of Constabulary, Andy Cook, told Sky News, officers shouldn't have to stand there and be subjected to that level of barrage that we saw. Policing needs to look again at how quickly it mobilises more resources in these instances to actually ensure that those officers aren't stood in these lines for so long. That different tactics can be used. To be different tactics, you need more resources. Getting officers to these locations where there are problems quickly is a critical part of that. So it's got a load of pictures here of the people that kicked off. Yeah, it's because no Tash. Yeah, we talked about this before, and Shane goes, lol, Harold. Yeah, what it is, you know when you grow a moustache, right? Now, if it was a solid moustache, I'd have one because I used to have a moustache. But the problem is, you see this bit here, it goes bald. So then you have a moustache like there, like that, and you put that together with me wonky teeth, I look like bloody Bagpuss, mate. So that's why I shaved it off, and I prefer it. I prefer it off as well, mate. You know, when I eat my cream pies, I don't get bloody cream all over my moustache, mate. You know, because I ain't got one. So I hope that answers the question for you. No, he isn't, though. Right, he goes. He praised the dedication and bravery of officers who had protected the public. Some 302 officers were injured in the violence, with more than 50 needing hospital treatment. He said most sustained violence was faced by officers who came under siege while protecting hotels housing migrants. Here we go, Harold. This is what we're talking about. Female officers and those from minority backgrounds bore the brunt of the attacks. Now we got pictures of 6 blokes here, mate, that have been arrested. Oh, they're in trouble, man. Hey, it's Lucy. Yay, no, he isn't. No, very British. Adventures in the Ute says, hello, Lucy. Harold goes, you can brush their hairs left and right like a rash comb over. A Tash comb over. Well, yeah, I know, that's what I used to do. So I'll come closer. So yeah, what I used to do, so I used to have the moustache there, and I used to go like that. Like that. Wow, Donnelly's Recycling. You just given us 20 quid. What an absolute legend. Could we have a minute to give a round of applause for Donnelly's? Absolute legend. Thank you very much, brother. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. So I mentioned Donnelly's earlier, right? And I'm going to tell you a bit more about Donnelly's Recycling, okay? Before we get back onto this, so we're going to be talking about this because it's just coming back into the migrant attacks at the hotels. Now, Donnelly's Recycling, like I said, if you haven't already subscribed to him, subscribe to him. We've never met, but I can tell you what, he feels like a pal. Do you know what I mean? He feels like a mate. Now, he does scrap metal and I do scrap metal. I used to do scrap metal, okay? And I used to watch his videos and he used to watch mine. Now, he deserves a lot more subs, right? And he deserves to be monetized if he isn't already. I'm not sure if he is. But he goes out and he grafts for his family every day and he puts together a good film, okay? And he shows you the scrap you get in, he shows you chucking the scrap off, and he shows you how much you can get paid for it. Like me, he's trying to educate people, see how much money they can get from it. I've moved over to car boots. So next year, my footage is going to be mainly about car boots buying and selling and charity shops buying and reselling and picking up. Still going out every now and again to look for scrap, but in my car to find stuff just for car boots, not to weigh in any scrap metal, just to find stuff for car boots that is in within a scrap pile. So I still leave all the metal for the boys, and then all the scrap, all the things like a battery, I can put a non-ferrous pile to one side, and like anything that's resellable for a car boot, I'll pick up and I'll film doing that. So that's basically the extent of what I'll be doing scrap metal wise. And I've still got all my scrap metal videos. But Donnelly's still's on the scrap, mate, all day, every day. So thank you very much, Donnelly's Recycling. You didn't have to do that, mate, but I really, really appreciate it. So let's have a look down here. Harold Betterson says, YouTuber The Looking Glass got 2 years in prison for a video at a hotel around the riots. Did he? He got 2 years in prison for a video at a hotel around the riots. Yeah, the thing is, mate, you know, people don't understand it. They don't understand what they're doing. They're filming themselves or they're filming someone else doing something. They're basically filming a crime, and they drop themselves in the crap with it. It's bad. Get yourself a Christmas present, mate. Thank you, Donnelly's. I will, mate. Shane Lightcaps giving a round of applause. Pete goes, good on you, Donnelly's. Harold Betterson says scrap metal is hard work. Yes, Harold, if you haven't seen any of my scrap metal videos, if you're on my channel, obviously you are, have a look at the earlier videos where I did scrap metal day in, day out, and also check out Donnelly's. Shane goes, cheers, Donnelly's. Chop, chop, busy, busy, work, work, bang, bang. That's been a while, brother. He said, I've had dandruff in my beers. I used some stuff from Head and Shoulders for beers. It's called Chin Cheeks. Naughty. Al says he caught ringworm from a Turkish barber. And Adventures in the Used Games, chop, chop, lol. So, good to have you all on board. Right, let's get back into the story because it's just about to get juicy. Here we go. So it's a complex situation. The inspectorate found the speedy identification and prosecution of hundreds of people involved in the riots helped to bring an end to the violence. The National Police Chiefs Council, led for public disorder, Chief Constable B.J. Harrington, said it was encouraging that the report acknowledged the immense bravery and professionalism of officers. He also said the finding that the national mobilization plan should have been made earlier was a helpful recommendation. Mr. Harrington added, hindsight can be useful and these learnings are important, but we are pleased that the inspectorate also recognised how complex of a situation this was for policing to respond to, and that on the whole the service did so well. In Walton on Merseyside, where rioters burned down a community library, there was broad support for the efforts of police to control the summer's disorder. A Spello community hub and library reopened last week, and the City Council's head of libraries, Alicia Smith, said, our emergency services were amazing. A second report from the inspectorate, which will look at social media misinformation among other things, is due to be published in the spring. Mr. Cook said the focus should be on being prepared. I doubt it will be another 14 years before we see serious disorder. I hope it is, but I doubt it. Yeah, so I don't know if you remember or ever saw any of it on the news, but those riots were brutal, mate. Absolutely brutal. You had right-wing neo-Nazis and stuff turning up, big groups turning up, mate. And they even turned up at Potter's International Hotel in Aldershot, originally where I'm from, because Potter's International Hotel was housing lots of migrants. And all like the football thugs and people like that turned up en masse, right, to smash up the hotel because it had the migrants in, which personally I think is bang out of order. I know some people might not agree with me in that, but I think it's bang out of order. You're in a foreign country, you're there for a reason. No matter what people think, you're there for a reason. You're a human being at the end of the day. You shouldn't be subjected to people petrol bombing your accommodation just because they disagree with you being there. Okay, you shouldn't have to, and I don't agree with it. So yeah, but it all kicked off, mate, and his pictures are smashing, even with the police there, mate. They're smashing this, smashing that. Chop Chop says, burnt down a library, that's handy, I won't have to take my book back, awesome for beginners. You a naughty boy, Chop Chop, you naughty, you know it. You are funny. Awesome for beginners. Terrible, man. Absolutely terrible. Right. So what else is everyone up to today? What are you up to? Where have you been? Where are you going? If you're watching this on playback, thank you very much for watching it. We do live stream news 9 o'clock in the morning for about an hour and a half, Monday to Friday. So feel free to join in, have your say on the news, and let everyone else know what you're doing on it. And if you've got your own YouTube channel that you're actually trying to build up, mention it to people in the comments, because you never know, your content could be just what somebody's looking for, like we've just seen with Donnelly's Recycling and Pete Adventures in EU. So keep it going on there. Keep going on. Nigel Farage Brexit. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Seek help, man. You clearly have mental issues. I definitely have mental issues. I think everybody does. But thanks for the advice, Nigel Farage Brexit. Thank you for joining. All right, let's have a look here. Let's look at the next thing. Private mission to the moon to pay for humanity's round to lunar service. That looks quite interesting, doesn't it? You are suffering from ASD, attention seeking disorder. I love that. I absolutely love that. I tell you what, I get little nuggets. I get lovely nuggets of information from people on it, and attention seeking disorder. That's really good. I love that. Because I saw another YouTuber, he suffered from CRS, which is can't remember shit. ASD, I love 3-letter abbreviations. Magnifique, I can remember those. Attention seeking disorder. Chop Chop goes, ooh, lovely, a real life troll. Well, Nigel Farage Brexit, are you a troll? Because you're welcome on this platform. You know, let me give you a bit of attention that you want, because you say I'm the one that wants attention, but from the things you're saying, I think you want a bit of attention, don't you? Eh? But come on, join in. Be a lover, not a hater. Thank you, I appreciate it. Bounce Boots, CSO, champ shite only. And he goes, I'm just concerned about your well-being. Mate, don't be worried about my well-being. I'm sound as a pound, brother. Kiel, what's your OF? What's OF? Don't know what that is. Eventually, you've been cleaning up after lazy trades who use the job site as a rubbish bin instead of the cage supply. Yes, we know, mate. We know. Shane goes, it's funny, Nigel, ASD. Attention-seeking disorder. So, Nigel, Bounce Beats goes, sounds a pound. So, yeah, so attention-seeking disorder. I suppose every single person that's on social media is, in some way, looking for attention, aren't they? I mean, you know, I'm looking obviously for attention. I want people to watch my content. And obviously you're messaging and you want those messages to gain attention. So I think we all are, to be fair. But yeah, just so you know, I'm a full-time YouTuber. That's why I'm on it. Okay. This is my full-time job. So thank you for joining, and you're always welcome back. All right. Bounce Beat sounds a pound. Eventually you, OF is OnlyFans adult. Sorry. Let's have a look here. So what do you say? What's your OF? OnlyFans. I call it attention whoring. Oh my god. Well, a lot of people say things like you're social whore because you'll go with anyone. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose if that's your opinion, attention whoring, yeah, I suppose. Or it could be I just want to connect and interact with my community, which includes you, and wish you all a good day and send you love. Even though you might want to send hate, send you love, brother. All right. I know a lot of people are out there attention seeking, but I'm just doing my thing on my platform to help everyone out in the world. You look like if Adam Sadler and Adin Ross had a baby in Chernobyl. Thank you very much. Keep the chipper attitude. It's very nice. Thank you very much, Bounce Beats. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Not you, Shane Like Cat. No, it's OF is only fathers. He for the men of the ministry. Yes. Go on, Shane. Nigel Farage Brexit. I'm sure it is Nigel Farage. Surely it would be Nigel Farage reform, but there we go. Can I ask a serious question? Well, I think you just did. But carry on. So I'm just going to warm up the next story while we're getting into the juice of it. Here we go. What's the serious question? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. If you're watching on playback, you're missing out on all these messages. I wish you were on the live, but you can get the gist of it. Do you know what I'm saying? It's good fun. I'm just glad lots of people on there. It's cool. Here we go. So Nigel Farage Brexit says, how are you making this a full-time job with only 7,000 subs and under an average views of under 1,000? What do you mean an average views of under 1,000, Nigel Farage Brexit? Under 1,000 views of what? And Cole says Fort and Rashford leaving United. So serious question. How are you making this full-time job? That's a good question. Okay. So for many years of my life, I've worked all day, every day, breaking my back. Okay. For my whole life, I've been in the British Army, work. I've been self-employed the last 17 years. Okay. I'm in a really good position now. And I've knocked my scrapping job on the head because I didn't want to do it anymore. And now I do two things, okay? So YouTube is my main goal. That's what I want to do. And to support YouTube, I also am starting a car boot reselling business, okay? So I buy products and I sell them for a higher price from charity shops and from car boots. And that's what I'll start doing in January. Okay, but yeah, I mean everyone's circumstances are different, but the best way to put it is my bills are paid for. I've got a roof over my head. I'm happy. I'm enjoying doing content creation on YouTube, and this is what I want to do. And for the first time in my life, I've actually been allowed, from financial sense, I've actually been allowed to fully immerse myself in something I want to do, which is YouTube, without having to work a full-time job alongside it, which I know a lot of people are struggling with, which takes away all your energy to do it. So I'm very happy, I'm very humble, and it was a really good question. So thank you very much. Fort and Rashford, what's your thought on Rashford leaving United? I'm not really a football man. I watch a bit of England. I watch the England games. I support England, the women's teams and the men's teams. Yeah, I mean, fair play to him. He's got to go where the money is, mate, innit? They've got a limited time span of when they can play, before they lose their prime, and the younger generation are coming through and running rings around them. So they've got to make the money while they can, I guess. Nigel Farage Brexit says, looking at your previous videos, you have only a few hundred views, maybe one or two has over 1,000. Yeah, that's true. So what you get on YouTube is some videos will get 10 views, some videos will get a few thousand views, and other videos will get 90,000 views or 20,000 views. What I think will clear it up for you, Nigel Farage Brexit, if you go on my channel on the videos, scroll all the way back to the ones at the beginning, okay? Have a look at the views that those videos were getting and are still getting to this day. and that will hopefully explain to you how I'm able to do it. All right. Shane Lightcap says, makes me proud, Justin. Thank you very much, Shane. There you go. So it's good to have you on board, Nigel Farage Brexit, and any serious good questions like you just asked are welcome on this format, okay? Mock Blue, how long have you been doing this? Keep it up. You're funny, my man. Thank you very much, Mock Blue. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have been doing YouTube for 10 months. 10 months I've been doing it. And I love it. I know everyone says it's a grind and stuff like that, but I think when you get organized with YouTube, and this goes with anyone out there, when you get organized with YouTube and you're scheduling what you're going to film about, how you're going to film it, and you get used to being behind the camera and you don't mind, you know what I mean? It's not all, hello, I am on YouTube for the first time. This is my YouTube voice. When you just be yourself, I think that resonates with people. And, you know, I can't be anyone else but myself. Do you know what I mean? If I was an actor, mate, I'd be in Hollywood. Nigel Farage says, good advice, my man. Thank you. Shane goes, I don't want to be famous. I'm here to help out your channels only. Well, Shane, you are famous. You're already famous, Shane. All these people around the world know you are. Legend. You're a legend, Shane. Now, to be honest with you, you know, people say about fame and stuff like that. I'm not really bothered about fame. I don't come on here to become famous. I come on here to, this is my escape from reality, mate. You know, I have had many jobs. Hi from Essex, Joe Rogers. Shane goes, dang it, lol. And Nigel Farage Brexit says, just call me Nigel. Eric Yoda with a Lego head as a picture says, can I ask you a question? Yes, you can. I have worked my ass off, mate, for years, absolute years. And YouTube is my escape now, where I can be fully creative, because in my past, I've been a singer, a musician, a DJ, this business, that business. I'm a very creative person. So to have an outlet like YouTube, it's just it's my escape, it's my therapy, it's my creativity. And if you earn any money off it, you earn some money off it, innit? So that's how it is. Princess Divine Andalese, hi. Cool. My question up. Princess Divine Andalese, hi. I sub. Thank you very much. If any of you have got questions, this isn't just about you listening to me read the news. You can talk and ask me anything. It's good to have you all on board. And remember, we do these news live streams every morning, 9 o'clock till about 10:30ish, something like that, where you can interact, have your opinion on the news, or just talk to me about anything. And, you know, as well, we've got the videos that come out and the shorts. TJ says, hope you're having a good morning, mate. Love the ring you're wearing. Thank you very much. That is a pewter ring my wife got me from Burley Shop. Very nice. With the cross of our Lord and Saviour on there. I say my prayers every day. There we go. There's my cross. It's good to have hope, and it's good to believe in something you can't see or hear, but you can feel. And that's how I feel about God. It's beautiful. She chose well. Thank you very much, mate. Are you talking about me or the ring? I think we both know you're talking about the ring. Right, here we go. So I'm going to get into the next story. Oh dear. So, private mission to the moon to pave way for humanity's return to the lunar surface. A private spacecraft the size of a large shed will launch from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida early next year and take 45 days to reach the moon. I've always fancied going to the moon. Back in the 1990s, if you wanted to go to the moon, you had to pay 10 quid for a couple of bills down a local nightclub. It's a trip to the moon and back. Here we go. Hope you have a good morning, mate. It's beautiful show as well. Jim H says, I love big women. Good man. I'm sure they love you too, Jim. You stud. Princess Divine Andalese got a smiley face and a thumbs up. And Adventures in You says, how did you and Lucy meet? Well, we didn't meet on the moon. I can tell you that. So I'll ask that quickly. So we'll come back to the moon story in a minute, because I'd rather answer your questions, to be honest with you. So me and Lucy I want you to picture the scene. It was a dark, miserable night. No, there was a pub in a place called Shirley. There was a pub that had a karaoke on, and Lucy was a good singer, and I was a good singer. Okay, and I walked into the pub. Yeah, I walked into the pub absolutely blottoed. I'd had a couple of beers to say the least, and I walked in the pub and I ordered a beer, and then I heard this voice of an angel over the karaoke system singing, and I looked round and it was Lucy. And I thought, she's a good singer, cool. Say hello to her when she finishes. And then she finished and she walked past and went to her mates, and then she come back to the bar. And I remember the first thing I ever did when I saw her, I just said, turn around to her, I said, well done for singing that. I said, you're a really good singer. And she went, oh, thanks, and everything else. And then 10 minutes later, I went up and sung. And I was a semi-professional singer at the time, so I did it for a living. That's how I paid my bills, singing and playing guitar. And, you know, she then noticed me from my voice, and then we just sort of said hello to each other at the pub, and that was it. And then I didn't see her or anything for years, but then over the time, when I had Facebook, she added me and then I added her. And then I think it was probably a couple of years after that, we both looked on the old Facebook at times, and I noticed she was single and I was single. So I thought, well, yeah, that was that girl that was singing karaoke, wasn't it? So we started messaging, and I said, do you fancy going out for a drink sometime? She said, yeah. And we went out for a date. And the rest, they say, is history. So hopefully that answers your question, Pete. Chop Chop says, if you have any spare, Jim. I guess he's talking about big women. I love big women. Princess Divine Underly says, you're funny, hee. I love your video. Thank you very much, Princess. How old are you? Me? I'm 42 years old. Can you believe it? I don't look a day over 41 and a half. I'm 42 years old. There you go. All right. So let's have a look. So a private mission to the moon will launch next month to pave the way for humanity's return to the lunar surface. Ghost Riders in the Sky, the mission name chosen by US startup Firefly Aerospace, will target a landing in the Sea of Crisis, a dark patch the size of Britain on the near side of the moon. That's cool. The Blue Ghost lunar lander will carry 10 scientific instruments and technology demonstrations to the surface as part of NASA's partnership with commercial operators. I'm looking at it now, it looks really cool. Marley shakes the fleas off. Yes, Pete, he does. Divine Andales going, what? What? Thank you very much. And Shane Lightcap going, #1. Thank you guys, appreciate the support. So Jason Kim, Chief Executive Officer of Firefly Aerospace, said the space agency had paid a fixed price of $101 million for the mission, a low cost only achievable with technology innovation. We believe in a future of a very robust lunar economy, he said. It's the gateway to other planets like Mars, and so enabling the frequency of very affordable and high science value missions is what private industry is doing with this first Blue Ghost mission. So I guess, oh yeah, Princess Divine goes, oh, you're old. No, that's saying it ain't so. Yes, but I'm embracing my oldness. I've got a few grey hairs here. I'm all right. I'm not bad. You know what I mean? I'm all right, mate. Age is but a number. Right, here we go. So what I'm taking from this is they want to go to the moon, right? Because they know Elon Musk has got this whole thing about going to Mars, and he's doing space trips, go up in the rocket and come back down, yeah? And they've already got the space station. But Elon Musk has already been awarded the contract, hasn't he? Like £830 million or whatever it is to take apart the space station and bring it back to Earth. But I think what they're trying to do with this moon thing is, if they can get some kind of setup on the moon, if you think about it, it could be like some kind of stop, like a petrol station, you know what I mean, for cars. A stop instead of the space station, when it can go from there and then try to get to Mars further on down the line. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, let's go. Here's what it says here. So it is the gateway to other planets like Mars, and so enabling the frequency of very affordable and high science value missions is what private industry is doing with this first Blue Ghost mission. The spacecraft, which is the size of a large shed, will launch from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida in mid-January or soon after and take 45 days to reach the moon. I don't think they thought this through. I mean, if you're going to go to the moon, why are you using a shed? Going to fall apart, isn't it? It will land autonomously on shock-absorbing feet and short legs to reduce the risk of its toppling over, a fate suffered by Intuitive Machines Nova C spacecraft in the South Pole region of the moon last February. The mission will study lunar dust. Lunar dust, I'll go back to this. I swear we had lunar dust in the nightclubs back in the 90s. Does anyone remember a lunar dust? Or was it Mitsubishis and Doves? Pete goes, now Elon Musk wants to Xmail to complete with Gmail. Oh my God. Do you know he's the richest guy in the world, mate? I saw last night he's the richest guy in the world. Elon Musk. It said it on the news. I thought Jeff Bezos was from Amazon, but he's not. Mission will study lunar dust. Several of its technology demonstrations are for dealing with regolith or lunar dust. A planet vac will vacuum up and analyze lunar samples, and an electromagnetic dust shield will be tested to see if it can protect delicate instruments. Ryan Watkins, a NASA program scientist, said the moon is a quiet and dusty area. As we design technologies for the lunar surface, regolith needs to be better understood. Lunar's dust can affect mechanical components in human health, so we need to know how it accounts for its effects. Recording a lunar sunset in high definition. Chop Chop goes, I went to Uranus once, but it took me 2 weeks to get rid of the rash. Love it, Chop Chop, all day, mate. That's one of my lines is oh yeah, I was looking up at the stars, but all I saw was Uranus. Very good, Chop Chop. Great minds think alike. Although we're thinking of Uranuses. Talking about Uranus, do you know what does my head in? Every time we sit down for dinner about 5:30, 6 o'clock, they put this advert up for this bum cream called Anusol, right? And it's just, you're trying to eat your dinner and it goes, Anusol for your ass, right? And if you think of the name of the cream, Anusol, when they were creating the cream, they thought, right, what should we call it? And I bet you someone somewhere said anus hole. And then they just go, yeah, we'll call it that, anus hole, Anusol. So that's the cream, mate. Every time it comes on at 5:30, 6 o'clock when I eat me dinner, got to see a load of bloody ass cream turn up. It's not so bad, but when you're having spaghetti bolognese, mate, it puts you off a bit. Do you know what I'm saying? Chop Chop from Surrey, England. So recording a lunar sunset in high definition. Blue Ghost will remain operational on the service for 14 days. One of its final tasks will be to record high-definition video of a lunar sunset. It should provide the first quality imagery of the lunar glow, a phenomenon caused by dust particles floating several centimeters above the surface. Mr. Kim said that the video would be a fighting tribute to the last man to walk on the moon, who sketched what he saw in the fading light. We expect to capture a phenomenon seen and documented by Eugene Cernan during his final steps of Apollo 17. We observed a glow as the lunar dust levitated on the lunar surface, he said. There we go. They're going back to the moon, boys. Boys and girls alike. Let's have a look here. What do we think about that? Should we go back to the moon? I always thought we should go back to the moon. I think Mars is a bit out of our reach at the moment, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? Chop Chop says, My mum brushed her teeth once with Anya's soul by mistake, but her bum smelt of spearmint. Very good, mate. Very good. I tell you what, I joke about this Anya soul stuff, right? And it's annoying watching it advertised, but I tell you what, when you've got the ring of fire going on, mate, you wish you had some, innit? Let's have a look here. Now, I think this would be quite interesting to talk about in the entertainment and arts. Shane Lightcap says they want to use the moon to get to Mars. Yeah, you're right, exactly, 100%. It could be like a stopgap, like I said, you know, like you in a car, you go from point A to point B, you have petrol stations, don't you? So I'm guessing they'll use it like a stop off to refuel, whatever they're going to do up there. You're on fire, Chop Chop. Asked like a Japanese flag. I'm gonna say Chop Chop's comment in my Australian Pete accent. Asked like a Japanese flag. You're on Chop Chop, fire, Chop Chop. Get the Anya soul out. Chop Chop's on fire. Here we go. So this one is, you know that singer Katie Melua, right? She opens up about an acute psychotic breakdown. So I think this will be interesting to talk about. Hope you're enjoying this today, and I thank you so much for joining. Interactive news, 9 o'clock till about 10:30 Monday to Friday, and videos and shorts all coming out with lots going on. We've even got some competitions coming up that you can enter for free. When they do, I'll make a video about it. So make sure you subscribe, share, like, comment, all that good stuff to stand a chance of winning one of the prize. So Chop Chop says, that's when you knew, wishing you were a snowman. Very good. Can't read everything out, Chop Chop. You get me busted. That's when you wish you were, yeah. So here we go. Katie Melua opens up about acute psychotic breakdown. Singer Katie Melua has had huge success in 2000s following the release of her debut album, Call Off the Search. She released her latest album in 2023. But has said her mental health breakdown in 2010 left her fearing for a music career. Sad, isn't it? They work so hard to get to where you want to. Is for anyone. You work so hard to get you where you want to in life, and then you have a mental breakdown. Nightmare, isn't it? But your health comes first, guys. If you ain't got your health, you ain't got nothing. Let's have a look. So Katie Melua has opened up about suffering an acute psychotic breakdown in her 20s, saying she feared it would leave her unable to make music. The singer, who released her multi-platinum debut album, Call Off the Search, in 2003, spent 6 weeks in hospital in 2010 and was forced to take a break from her music career. However, she returned to the charts on her 5th album in 2012 and released her 9th, Love and Money, in 2023. Now 40, Melua said she hopes to continue making music until I die. Bit over the top, innit? In a new interview, speaking on the origins with Kush Jumbo podcast. Asked if she ever considered quitting, she replied, "Oh no, I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to do it." Chop Chop says he's got things to do. Take care, Chop Chop. Bye, Chop Chop. Thank you for joining, brother. I was afraid that for whatever reason, if I'm not allowed to do it or I can't do it, I was worried about that, but thankfully that didn't happen at all. It was my savior. She added, "I really want to make records until the day that I die, honestly." Melua said that she had discovered what small warning signs might be and learned to look after herself better. I remember one of the therapy tools that I got from hospital was like, take one day at a time. 100%. Otherwise, you just get so overwhelmed. If you think about all the things you've got to do all at once, all the time, you can get so overwhelmed. You do have to take life one step at a time, one problem at a time, and just deal with what's right in front of you. You know, plan for the future best you can, but deal with what's in front of you, one thing at a time. The British singer, who was born in Georgia, gave birth to her son in 2022, and he had massively helped her to stay focused. She was born in Georgia. I thought she was British. Yeah, it's news to me. Fair play. She has spoken candidly about her mental health issues, previously telling The Telegraph she had never suffered depression before, but balancing album releases and touring had become crazy in the months leading up to her breakdown. The NHS says the three main symptoms associated with a psychotic episodes are hallucinations, delusions, and confused and disturbed thoughts. Yes, so for those that don't know, if you have a psychosis is where you hear or see things that aren't real for up to a maximum of 3 weeks. Okay, it's called a psychosis. If you hear or see those same things for more than 2 to 3 weeks on a more permanent basis, it's called schizophrenia. Okay, so that's what it is with the mental health. If you see or hear things for 2 to 3 weeks, it's psychosis. If you get medication for it or it goes away naturally, you're fine. After that, it's classed as schizophrenia, classed as schizophrenic. And if you're paranoid with that as well, and you think everyone's watching you and everyone's got it out to hurt you and this and that, you're called a paranoid schizophrenic. So hopefully that clears a bit of that up as well. So what is everyone else doing up to today? So if it's morning here, Pete should be having a beer at night in Melbourne, Australia. I don't know what time it is in Ohio, Shane, but you'll be doing something. Here it is 10:15, and we are reading the news. So I'm going to talk about, put the laptop down for a minute. I'm going to talk about what we were talking about earlier. So, we were talking about the homelessness crisis and stuff like that. Pete said he was living in a caravan for a while and everything else. Well, when I left the army 17 years ago, I was in that same situation through choice. I didn't have to, but through choice I did. What I would do is before I left the army, I got a mortgage because I got told when you leave in the army, always get a mortgage because they base the borrowing on your wages. Yeah. So I got a mortgage, couldn't afford it at the time, and got the house that we're living in now on a mortgage. Yeah. And to get this house paid for, initially I rented it out, like for the first few years, rented it out, and I went to get a caravan, okay, because I was working flat out, self-employed, DJ, singing, all this and everything else, yeah. And I was literally going from pub car park to pub car park in my caravan. So I turn up at a gig, like the house that I got a mortgage for was being rented out, all the bills were getting paid, so I was free. So I bought myself a caravan, and I was going from pub car park to pub car park to start with. Turn up at a pub, have my caravan in the car park set up to stay overnight, DJ in the pub, go back to the caravan, get absolutely smashed, go back to the caravan, wake up the next morning, hook up, go to the next pub, right? So that's how I used to do it. And then I went on campsites, and then I lived in that caravan for 2 years. I actually really enjoyed caravan life. We've got a little caravan in the garden that we use as like a little snug out in the garden, and that's what we're going to be using when we go camping. But I actually really like caravan life, and I've had motorhomes and caravans that I've done up. Camper vans that I've done up and stay like wild camped, free camped everywhere. So it's really good. But yeah, some people, they're in that situation, don't want to be. But personally, I don't actually mind being in a caravan. I think the most important thing is who you're there with, and if you actually want to be there. So yeah, Shane goes, it's 5:16 a.m. in Ohio. Wow, thank you for watching at 5:16 a.m. in Ohio, Shane. Legend. Pete goes, I see you every day, must be in psychosis. Yeah, if you wake up in a cold sweat, go, oh yeah, yeah, that might be a bit more schizophrenic, Pete. Because I think it's been longer than 2-3 weeks now, brother. Shay's going low, and they've got a camper. Love it. What I did, I bought. So I broke down in the middle of France in a motorhome once. I went to drive from the UK down to Spain, and I had this old Peugeot Talbot motorhome that I was actually living in full time at the time. because I rented out all the rooms in my house to pay for the mortgage. And I said, right, I'm going to do a trip down to France. And I got literally, didn't even get halfway through France, mate. Literally got probably 200 miles into it. And the fifth gear selector for the gearbox, the thing that moves it into fifth gear, went on the truck. So every time I put it in fifth gear, it popped out and popped out. So I had to get recovery. And they took me to this garage, mate. And it weren't an English speaking garage. They didn't know a word of English. It was like a proper French village, middle of nowhere garage, right? And I was staying in the camper van in the garage where it took him like a week to fix it because he basically changed the whole gearbox so he couldn't get the part. And he charged me 2,000 euros. Yeah, absolutely bumped me, but I had no choice. Charged me 2,000 euros to change the gearbox. And I was that annoyed that from getting it fixed, I went back to the UK. And on the way back to the ferry, the fifth gear selector went again. So I basically got ripped off $2,000. And when I got back to the UK, I called a mobile mechanic. I said, oh, how much to fix that, mate? And he goes, 200 quid. So don't break down in these foreign countries, mate. They'll rip the ass out of you. So that was my experience the first time I ever went abroad. And then I had a Ford Transit little auto sleeper camper van, 1989. And I completely stripped that out, rebuilt it inside, got it painted up and everything else. And I drove to Amsterdam in that, stayed in the camper van, lived in that for a bit. And then I eventually went back into the house and I had 2 lodgers upstairs and lived in the house. And then I met Lucy. And then we lived with Lucy and her mum for a while because her mum was old and needed Lucy's help. So we lived with her for a while. And then we, when the time was right, we moved back to this house, which I've owned this house for over 17 years. And we completely gutted it out, done it up, moved in, and it's been our family home for like the last 6-7 years. So cool, isn't it, eh? Things that go on. Oh dear. Been a really good day today. It's sunny. I'm desperate to get out and go for a walk. But my back, mate, I've just had to take 2 ibuprofen and 2 paracetamol. I wake up first thing in the morning, my back is in bits. It just needs rest. If I go for a walk, I reckon I'll seize up halfway around the walk. So there we go. Ray goes, please don't curse God, Jesus and Holy Spirit, the unforgivable sin, like all these other losers on YouTube. Praise be to God, Ray. I never curse God. And if you hear me say Jesus and stuff like that, it's never in the negative. It's always in the positive, okay? But thank you for saying it, Ray. Thank you very much. Praise be to God, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit of St. Christopher. We love you. Amen. Thank you. And thank you, Ray, for pointing that out, because I may not be aware of when I say things like that. But thank you for calling me a loser on YouTube too. You're on YouTube, Ray. Does that make you a loser as well? Just asking. Oh, I tell you what, Ray, I'll be a loser if you're a loser too. Should we be losers together? Yeah? God puts people where he wants them. I'm glad he put me here. Yeah. And Ray goes low. Sending love, Ray. Thank you, mate. And I'm glad you've got God's back, because God's got all our backs. All right? But you don't have to call me a loser, because you might make me cry. Look how it's affecting me, Ray. Oh dear. I tell you what, it's been really good speaking to you all. And I've really enjoyed today's news report and getting to know you all, because we've had a lot of new people and we've had the regulars as well, Shane and Pete, and a big thank you to Donnelly's Recycling for sending £20. Wow, man. He's a scrap man, and I know how hard scrap is at the moment, so for him to send that £20 is amazing. You've all been amazing. Remember, we do live stream news 9 o'clock till about 10:30, Monday to Friday every week. And we have a video or an entertaining short coming out every other day. So there's something for you to watch every day, a live stream and a video or a short. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Hopefully see you all again on tomorrow's live stream news, or whenever you can make it and are free. Pete says you need a Thai massage with a happy ending for your back. Ray says the power of life and death comes from the tongues, and those who love it will eat its fruits. I share that with you, bro. Do you know what, Ray? It's really good to connect with you. I do say my prayers to God every day. I am not a devout Christian. I am a liberal Christian. I'm yet to read the Bible in full. I've read parts of it. But people say, let's have a quick talk about God quickly and Jesus. People say, oh, I don't believe in anything I can't see. And if I can't see and touch it, it's not real. And that's fair enough. Okay, that's fair enough. But with me, I feel the power of God. Okay. If I don't just go around saying, oh, I believe in God. Yeah, I believe in God. Yeah. The reason I say I believe in God is because I feel it. When I'm at my darkest time, when I'm at my loneliest time and my neediest time, the only person I'm talking to is God. Okay. When I never ask God for anything, although there's nothing wrong with people doing that, I only ever give thanks. I give my daily prayer, and my daily prayer would be Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and Saint Christopher, the protector. I say thank you for our love, life, health, and wealth. Thank you for everything you give us daily. Thank you for my family. Thank you for the air in my lungs and the ability to be the best person I can. Sorry for my sins. I try to be a better man each day. I hope you're all okay up there, and I will see you when my time is up. Your loving Son on earth, Justin, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and Saint Christopher. Amen. That is my prayer that I say. That brings me peace and joy. And I feel the power of God, and I don't need to see him, and I don't need to touch him to know that he's there. I feel him, okay? So Pete goes, there's no atheist on a sinking ship. Everyone prays to God. I love that. Yeah, I'm going to say it in an Australian accent as well. There's no atheist on a sinking ship. Everyone prays to God. You're right, mate. You're right. But I honestly do, and I wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't true. So thank you for it. It's good to have a chat about the Lord. And thank you, everybody else. And Shane says, amen. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope to see you on the next one. You're all the best, and I really, really appreciate your support. Take care, guys. Justin from Juicy Killer Monster, over and out.